We're moving our wild Mustang's corral and turning him out in the pasture for the first time ever. Spoiler alert, he had a blast stretching his legs. But more on that later. It's been a fun but busy week with relatives visiting from both sides of Jason's family back to back. We were especially excited when Jason's cousin Caleb wanted to ride a mule. So we took Clyde and Riata to the foothills to give him a taste of the long-eared way of life. Now that everyone's headed home, it's time to get back to work. First on the list, moving a few panels so we can turn Rooster, our Mustang, loose in the pasture for the very first time.
Can you go out? Get some grass. Huh? What do you think? You like this? The whole thing. Gotta chew it. Yeah. Gotta chew with your back. There you go. Yeah? I think. Maybe? Huh? What's that? A little weird? No, it's just green. Okay.
What's the plan today?
We're gonna, well, we got some panels put up here. Corey took our fence down to put up a round corral, so we're gonna button up these panels a little bit. We're just gonna twine them to the fence, real fancy. And we put some panels down on that end, and we're gonna turn Rooster out in this back field. So it's all 5-foot fences, somewhere around in there, pretty close to 5 foot. And we think that he's good enough now that he shouldn't jump out. So I don't know if we'll leave him out loose at night or we'll put him back in his little corral, but we'll at least let him out loose during the day so he can go graze and have some fun. Let's see.
This would be a fun time to talk about what our round pen is going to look like.
Yeah. So we have a neighbor who owns an excavation company, and he's going to come over and bring in a bunch of fill dirt because we have a sloped area back here, but it's going to make a really nice spot for a round pen. So we're going to put in a full 60-foot round pen. We're going to bring in a bunch of fill dirt and make this level over here, and then bring in some sand so it'll have some sandy footing. We're going to build, I think, a nice wooden, we have a bunch of these rails from the fence that was around here and the fence that's back there. We had some extras anyway, so we're going to do rails, like a 6-foot tall big wooden round pen. So I'm going to have them take out some of our dead trees. Sadly, some of these aspens are dead. Some beetles got to them, so we're going to take out the dead ones and try to keep the ones that are hanging on and get them healthy again. But we have it drawn out. It's probably going to be hard to see on the camera, but we have an orange line drawn out. But basically it'll go from this panel here clear over there to where Yeti is. That whole span. So it's 60 foot, and then by 60 foot this way it'd be a big round corral. So that'll be pretty awesome. Be like a mini arena for us. So, and we can work with, like, get Rooster started under saddle. When Josie's old enough, then she can get started under saddle in here. We can start cedar in this corral and stuff, and have just a nice flat, sandy, good footing area to work in so that they don't slip around and end up falling down or something like that. So should be awesome. It'll be big enough you can actually like lope one. So that'll be awesome.
We've talked in the past about wanting to upgrade properties and stuff, but we also really like it here, and so our plan is to keep looking for upgrades and stuff, but in the meantime just make this a really good setup for training the equines we do have, even though we can't grow our herd at this place. We love it here, and we want to be set up to where we can work with Josie, Cedar, and Rooster, and Mesa, and all our mules in a good environment that's a good, safe setup for them.
Hey, guy. How long his forelock is. It's so pretty. Yes. It's so pretty, and his mane's starting to stay trained over. Looks so nice. Oh, what are you doing? You get a treat. And your halter goes on. There, good boy. Oh, so nice, baby. Yes. Very nice. There you go. Those treats garbage. No, man. I'm not sure about those treats. Usually give them a little tiny bit of grain, but figured this would be easier to get in and out of my pocket than little tiny pieces of grain that always end up in the washing machine. You ready to go get some energy out and then we'll turn you loose? Be a free horse. Kind of. Hopefully not too free. Can you jump well? We don't know. Maybe. Hopefully you don't try it though. I can never figure out where his mane wants to like go forward. Where it wants to train backwards, I don't know. He gets caught up in his halter. There you go. But look at that forelock. He's only a 3-year-old. It's already down past his little nose band on his halter. It's amazing. All right, buddy. There you go. Good job. You're gonna go loose and just eat. This is so nice. Alright, bud. There you go. Yeah, get some of that energy out. There you go. Yeah.
It's for sure locked up.
We can go grab a little more twine if we want, like for the bottom of that panel and stuff, but alright, let me pet it with this real quick just to make sure. Okay, yeah. Hey, no. That's not scary. Alright, bud. Are you ready? Nice, buddy. So nice. Alright, here we go. You're free. You need a cookie? That's probably all he's gonna do. Just graze. So we're gonna pull all these boards off and move them actually over to our little garden fence area, and then we're gonna move this little corral down into the corner over here where it's a little more flat, and he can live down there for just a little while until we get back there organized and cleaned up and the fence taken down to where we can move these panels back there. And one, it'll make our dry lot bigger so that everyone will have more space, and two, for a little while he can just be in there next to the mules and just make sure everyone's good with each other, and then we can turn them all out together. So should work pretty good. But for now we're just gonna take down these boards and move his corral just right down here, so shouldn't take too long. Out.
We still aren't sure if this boy would stomp out any dogs, so we definitely don't let our dogs come in the pasture when he's free in here. I'm really impressed with how well he's doing. It is definitely springtime and he is still continually shedding his coat every day. It's that time of year when you find horse and mule hair all over every single item of clothing that you have. There were a few mule deer that decided to come by for a little visit. The first step is going to be taking down all of these boards. We're going to go move them over into our garden area. We have a privacy fence up from the old neighbors who had dogs that would continually bark at me every time I was out in the garden. So we started putting up a privacy fence just so I could work out there with a little bit more peace. We're going to move these boards to finish off that wall over there. Those neighbors don't live there anymore, so the dogs are no longer a problem, but we're hopeful that our new neighbors do not have dogs that bark at us or happen to play a lot of loud music or other things that would be pretty obnoxious on videos. This boy is just hanging out with us through all the commotion.
I'm pretty surprised old Rooster never did even run around at all, at least not yet. But I guess it shouldn't come as a surprise. He's pretty chill, but I thought he would kind of take off and explore his boundaries, but he's happy to just stand here munching. Next up, we're going to take these boards, put them over there where Alyssa is, fill in that little gap. Nice little privacy fence. For those who are new here, this little area that is a disaster right now, it's going to be, we're going to put a greenhouse. That pile of lumber is enough lumber to put a greenhouse right here where this old little hoop house frame is. So we're going to put a greenhouse there. We planted a few fruit trees over here last summer. And so we're going to have a chicken coop greenhouse combo right here, garden on the other side, and a chicken run right here. So fun projects coming up. But for now, increased privacy over here.
You might be able to hear that chainsaw in the background, and that is from our neighbor who is building a custom log home for himself. We actually get our firewood from him. We burn the cut off pieces of his logs that he is not using for his home. We got these lumber pieces from our other neighbor who has his own little lumber mill. These are the extra pieces that he cuts off of the logs to make sure that the logs are square so that he can mill boards for himself. It's handy having neighbors that have a lot of different skills and a lot of different equipment. We sure do like where we live, and we would like to continue staying here, but it's pretty ridiculous how high prices have gotten in the last couple of years. We bought just in time before the housing market really went crazy here. There are some new job opportunities opening up here, and so the town size is increasing at the moment, which makes finding a place even harder. So even though we'd like to buy a bigger place with more property, we're going to try to make this place as perfect as we can for now. It definitely works for us, even though we would like to have better facilities for training these equines of ours. With this fence all done, it is time to continue on with Rooster's pen.
Hanging out with us. Doesn't even care about the drill or anything. He's just like, alright, I'll just hang out. He has his whole pasture and he's right here. Such a cool horse. Good boy, buddy. Silly guy.
Before anyone comments about my awesome ranch outfit, I just want to nip it in the bud. These are the clothes you wear when you're getting ready to take a nap. You go outside with your wife to see what projects you want to do next, and then you just start on them with no nap.
Yeah.
It does feel good to get a little bit done though. I feel silly working in my sweatpants and muck boots over the top, but it's nice to get those moved. Next up, moving the panels, get them set up right down in this edge here where he can kind of knock down some of this older grass and let the grass that he's been living on start to grow a little bit. We're getting some springtime weather finally. Feels really good. Things are starting to turn green. It's an exciting time of year.
We can't keep Rooster on this pasture for too much longer. Here pretty soon the grass is really going to start blowing up and we will be able to turn on our irrigation water. We like to give the grass a head start before we turn the equines out on it to graze. We're going to carry over all of these panels that we got from Murdoch's. They're 6 foot tall and they made the perfect Mustang pen. I'm going to use these as my round pen for the time being since I don't have my good round pen set up yet. Hopefully we can get that thing put in here very soon. It's going to be quite the amount of work to haul in that dirt and build a berm for it and then haul the sand in and build the corral itself. But I think it'll definitely be a worthwhile addition to our little place. We'll put Rooster back in this corral in the evenings just so he doesn't do anything like try to jump a fence if he gets spooked at night when no one is able to keep an eye on him. I'll slow this next part down for you guys so you can all enjoy Jason's dance moves that I had no idea were going on behind me. He thinks he's pretty funny and even comes over to pull a few more. He likes to surprise me with things like this all the time for when I'm editing, but I decided to leave this one in so you guys can also see his antics and get a feel for what I deal with on a daily basis with him. At least there's never a dull moment around here, and I really do enjoy working with Jason. He truly is my best friend, which is such a blessing to find in a husband. Rooster is pretty curious about what we've got going on here. I like how he comes over to investigate while we're working. He really doesn't seem too concerned with all the commotion and the noises we've been making. He's mostly curious on if he can eat the twine that I have in my hand.
Alright, got a little panel put up here. It's kind of an awkward little corner with the buck and rail fence transitioning to the fence that was originally here, and then we got our panel set up, and there's a little spot where if he were to try to, he could squeeze through and then he'd be kind of stuck. So anyway, putting this panel up just to make sure he doesn't get tempted to wedge himself back there. So he's just hanging out, eating. He hasn't even explored the whole field. He's just having fun grazing, so he's a good boy. Nice and chill, hanging out with us. We're like moving panels and boards, and he's like, I'll just hang out with you guys. He's pretty cool.
There he is.
Well, I got his pen moved over. It's a little flatter down here, and then we just open it up and let him in this whole back pasture, so that'll be good. But this will be a little bit nicer for me working with him, just since it's flatter. It's kind of on a hill over there, plus he's grazed everything he can over in that area, so this gives him a little more to munch on, and then we'll just open it up and let him free range in here. So until we can go grab a couple more panels from Murdoch's and then get that area back there cleaned up and get him moved back by the mule. So that'll be awesome. But I'm itching to get my round corral in, hopefully here in the next couple weeks. Our neighbor can come over and get that done for us. That'll be awesome.
This will be a nice, perfect setup till then.
Yeah, it's nice and flat. Like I should be able to start working with him with the saddle in here. Like the footing will be plenty good for that, and in a big enough space that he can at least trot around, and then yeah, so that'll be awesome.
It'll be good to give this grass a break where he's been for the last couple of weeks. It's good to see that Rooster is finally exploring the pasture. It seemed like he wasn't really sure if he was actually free or not earlier. There's a snow squall starting to come in, so we're going to try to wrap this up as quickly as we can before we get snowed on. We still need to move Rooster's water tank and refill that for him. I'm going to go over and get started on that while Rooster explores around a little bit more.
Well, I'm just going to fill up his water tank and let him hang out for the rest of the day. Once it's feed time, we'll bring him back in and probably put him in here for the night just to be sure he's safe. But he can just start being turned out in the pasture every day and until we get his pen set up back there. And then pretty soon he'll be in with the mules, so that'll be pretty fun.
Our camera battery died, but Rooster came over and was looking pretty thirsty, so I offered him a drink out of the hose. Jason was able to capture it on his cell phone.
There you go. Yeah. Is that good?
Will they do it up high?
Now that he quenched his thirst, I guess it was time to play. With the storm coming in, Rooster sure seemed like he was starting to feel pretty spunky. He thought briefly about testing the fence, but I quickly ended that train of thought and got him steered in the right direction. He spotted some more deer way off in the distance and was unsure of what they were or if they needed to be watched by him. I ran over to look at what he was looking at and did see the deer. He did pretty good today, and he really only tried to test the fence once, and it was pretty half-hearted. We're going to let him hang out for the rest of the evening until feed time, and then we'll go ahead and put him back in his corral so he can spend the night in there in a safe space and I can sleep peacefully. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.